Hello, I'm Tate Berry, and I'm just going to go over a bit more into detail about Bird Wars and what it is, um, just so I wouldn't have to, because I think this way would be easier instead of just typing it out in a very long paragraph. I think this would be quicker for y'all. And so yeah, just real quick, I'll show you the basic gameplay so you can get an idea of it. So it's basically a party game, and each person chooses an element, and they have three different birds to control. And you have action points for each turn, but your action points are split across every single bird. So you normally start with 6 action points, and then from there, you can split that however you want. So I spent 3 on the first one on the second one, and I'm going to spend 2 on this one. And yeah, so the goals of this game overall are to collect eggs from the primary nest in the center, and then get them to your nest in the outer area. Right now, currently, everything you're seeing besides the obvious bird models, such as the rooster, the pigeon, the swan, and the woodpecker, everything besides those 4 models are all programmer art. It, you probably know what that means. So yeah, all of this looks bad. The UI especially is ugly, but I put it there so that playing the game we can have an understanding a bit more of what's going on. And so yeah, so each bird has an ability, and so the roosters, for example, if I select the rooster and I go to it, I turn on its ability and it shows you what areas the ability will affect. So if I go a bit more, and then I go right between 2 of the enemy birds, this ability is a fire blast and it's an explosion. Later on, whenever you select an ability or go to choose to use it, we want to have it to where it's set up to where it shows what the ability does and it explains it. But for now, for this build, it's a bunch of internal people working on it, so we know what it does. But future plans, we do want to have explanations for every ability before you use it, so you have a better understanding. And so yeah, whenever you use this ability, it's a fire blast just around the um, rooster. It does a little fire blast. Every bird in that area was damaged, and yeah, and so each bird specializes in different things. So the firebirds, for example, obvious, their main way of doing stuff is fire. The water birds, their main way of doing stuff is they can do some damage, like their abilities at least. They can do some damage, but they can also do a lot of area control. So this bird has a wave, and it pushes everything back towards the end of the wave. Um, so yeah, that airbird was sent back pretty far, and currently, we haven't quite got. We're about to start getting into balancing, and what that means is we haven't set range on these abilities yet because we want to just see what would feel best. And so right now everything has infinite range, but that'll soon change in the future. And this ability is a current, so if water birds go in this current, they can move in it without using AP. But if any other bird goes in this current, it costs them 2 extra AP to go into it because they're not water birds. And then this one's water whip. If a bird gets hit by it, then it gets sent back a space and gets dealt 1 damage. And yeah, that's all for the water birds. It's going to take a while. I'll try and go quicker. So the earth birds, this bird's ability is Coffin. If you select a bird and you hit it with it and it's in range, it hits that bird, and that bird can't move until the coffin area is gone. So it was trapped in earth, and it won't be able to move. And this is a wall. You summon it, it can help you by blocking areas, making it to where certain birds can't traverse there, but they can be destroyed by getting dealt 3 damage. And then this bird has an ability that's tunnel. Currently, it's not balanced correctly at all because it can go super far, however, but we plan on making it to where it can set 1 tunnel entrance at 1 turn, and then the next turn or any turn after that, it can set another one, and they can traverse during that. And over time, they can either be destroyed by other birds' attacks, or they can be destroyed after X amount of turns. So yeah, if you place that, then the Earth bird can just go in there, and then it comes out the other side. Okay, and the airbirds, they're all about movement and getting places quickly. So this bird can send itself and all the other birds in that. That was an air blast. It does no damage. This bird's ability is an air push. It can send So if I do it to the rooster, it sends it to the very end, but it does no damage. So both of those can either be used to help getting moved around, or messing with the enemy's position. And the last arrow bird's ability is fly, and if you use the ability, you can fly to anywhere on the map. More than likely, we're going to say limited range, and fly is going to be really good against these black things or walls that you can't traverse on. But if you have fly, so it won't be infinite, but yeah, that's the idea of it. And then for the final birds, so this bird's coffin, so it can't move, and it has a wall next to it, but yeah, it can't move at all. But this bird's ability is Firewall. It's similar to Earthwall, but birds can go through it. It just deals 1 point of damage whenever they're in it. So yeah, if you activate that here, if this Earthbird wanted to cross it, it would deal 1 damage, but it could still go through, and it just goes away after only 1 loop around. And this bird's ability is just Fireball. You throw a Fireball and it does damage. And yeah, so that's all the abilities. And yeah, I'll go ahead and reset it so it's going to be cleaner. I'll try and do it as quickly as I can. So I'll use the airbirds because they can travel the quickest, and everything has infinite range right now. So you want to collect your eggs and deposit them at the nest. How to do that? You go to your highlighted color area, and once you're there, you click on the platypus egg, and now you have collected the egg. It costs you 1 AP to pick it up, and then you can come back, and since air is all about movement, just do that, and then, so I'm already halfway there. Granted, it's super busted because, like I said, we have no range or anything set, but yeah, I'm just trying to show you what all the abilities are like and what they do. Whoops. And we decided to go with this camera of turning because I assigned one of our programmers to create the camera. And I was like, create it how you feel best feel. And they talked with the art department, and then our art department was like, oh yeah, this sounds good. So we plan on making it to where you can zoom in and zoom out more however you like. But for now, there's only 3 versions, and you can rotate in quarters. And yeah, depending on where you're looking, it shoots, the abilities do directional damage. And yeah, so let's go here. Okay, so this airbird goes ahead and scores, so airbirds score 1. And this game could either be, you can choose through settings of having it be you score X amount, you win, or it's after X amount of turns, one of the players wins. So yeah, so the firebirds collect an egg, and so we wanted to add something different. We wanted to add a benefit of taking down other birds, and to do that, to incentivize combat between players. Once a bird picks up an egg, it can be, sorry. Once a bird picks up an egg, it can be attacked by other birds, and if the bird loses all of its health, then it drops an egg. And if I pick up this egg, and then if I were to, I won't do it now just to save you time, but that Earthbird picked up the egg. If it went all the way back to its spawn and deposited an enemy's egg, it can then gain an extra AP. So you can go from, so instead of only having 6 action points, you can have 7. And we want to do that to incentivize player combat and having players fight. And yeah, so, and something that you might be thinking now, the audience is like couch co-op party game, and this seems kind of more strategic based. And so to counterbalance that, we wanted to make it to where you could play it either way, but I really wanted to make it to where you could just play with friends and have a good time without having to think too hard. And so we haven't added them yet, but in the future, soon, hopefully, we're adding 2 separate things. One of them is items, and those will come down randomly. They're both random mechanics to help with, the party game aesthetic, so that if a player is clearly just better, every player has a chance based off the randomness. So yeah, we hope for that to work. And so the items, they fall down randomly, and picking them up picking up the items gives you boost. That could either be that certain bird has more health, you could have an extra AP for X amount of rounds, and various ideas like that, just to add a little more like chaos to the game. And then the second one to add a lot more chaos and really help with the party aspect of the game is randomly something that could happen in the game is an environmental hazard would come up. So let's say everything floods, or everything is caught on fire, like a ton of walls form, or all the walls go away. Either of those four situations will benefit one of the elements, and we could have it to where the one that the random environment that comes up could be benefiting the player in last place, to help those come back. And that could be disabled or enabled however the player likes. But yeah, so those are the basic ideas of it and how we want to target more of the couch party genre of people. And so that was the design that side of what I've done so far. This is the current version of the game. All the models I believe are finished from what I last talked to the art department about. Most of the models are finished at least. It's just a matter of now we are animating them and rigging them and getting them into the game. And so the ones you see here, I've already I've already I've already set up the animation how everything works with walking and stuff. And yeah, I don't remember if I've showed y'all or you the how attacking works. I've showed you abilities, I know that, but yeah, for attacking, it can only be in one of the cardinal directions, so it can only be left, right, up, or down. You can only attack in those manners. But if you go up to the bird and you're within one space, you just click the select button again, and it attacks. And then, okay, sorry, on to the programming side. So for the programming wise, everything I've done so far, let's see, scripts. Currently, these are the main scripts. We're using this bird, uh, as I've mentioned in an earlier paragraph in the website, on the website, I mean. Um, I've learned so much since starting this project. I have such a disdain for how I've organized this project so far, and I feel bad for all the people that I've worked with. But I have learned a lot, and soon me and the program department are going to get together and restructure everything to make it more readable, make it look nicer, and all of that. Because now it's very unorganized, and yeah. So everything, all the scripts I myself made, and then what happened there is, so I made the basic layout. So I made the basic movement. Uh, I made basically how the turn system works by using enums. Um, uh, I made, yeah, so everything you see here is, it's just then from there I assign different tasks to other people. So the camera script, I originally made one a placeholder, but then I assigned the real version, what we wanted the final product to be, to another programmer, and they went in and redid what I've made, and they put their own spin on it, and they resulted in this camera that you see now. And so yeah. And then a lot of the other stuff is just I often will create something. The others in the programming department, which the programming department and the game design department have a lot of people overlapping, and so some people don't care about programming at all, and uh, but they still chose to be in the programming department, and so sometimes I'll just, instead of having people work on the programming side, they'll look at my scripts and stay and like comment on stuff and like ask why I did this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could have done this better, and then I go back and reorganize it. And yeah, I know I didn't explain that super well. I'm just not sure of what would be best to talk about for programming stuff. So I'll go ahead and move on from that. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to talk about this game. It's been a great learning experience of how to work with a team and how to best improve myself for future projects, regardless of my role. It's nice having a leadership position, and I really do enjoy it. Um, but I just had a really good time with this project, and I don't really care any of the position I'm in, as long as I get to, make games. But I have learned so much about what goes into positions like this, and I'm looking forward to any projects I work on with the team in the future, regardless of my position. And yeah, uh, that was 15 minutes. Sorry. I'll wrap this up now. Hopefully, hopefully you didn't even watch this because that's such a waste of time, and I'm sorry. But I didn't know how little to cover or how much to cover. And yeah, thank you for watching and have a good one.